Hey, it's Joey for Digital DJ Tips, and in this tutorial video, I'm gonna show you the remix capabilities of the Hercules P32 DJ controller. The P32 DJ is a grid pad controller meant to work with DJUCED 40, and they come together to form a comprehensive remix and live mashup package that's super easy to set up and really fun to use. We're at a point in digital DJing where we can do a lot more than just beat match two sounds together. The Hercules P32 DJ combined with DJUCED 40 software lets you improvise with loop rolls, stutter, and slicer effects, which I'll explain later in this video. Of course, you can also layer loops and one-shot samples while you DJ, thanks to the new sampler decks, all of which can be controlled directly on the Hercules P32 DJ easily. All of these combine to give you a modern set of digital DJ performance tools, whether you're at home in the studio, at the gig, or out traveling looking for some inspiration for your next remix. So let's start by connecting the Hercules P32 DJ to your laptop and getting DJUCED 40 installed on your system. Hooking up the Hercules P32 DJ to your laptop is really easy, whether you're on a Mac or a PC. Just connect the P32 DJ via a USB cable to your laptop. Next, hook up the output of the P32 DJ to your speakers via RCA. That's it. No need to install any extra drivers. You are good to go. Next, we're going to download the DJUCED 40 app from the DJUCED website. So open your browser and head on over to djuiced.com, as I've done over here, and then left click on download. Now left click on DJUCED 40, and then left click on full version, and then scroll down. And you're going to find the DJUCED installer specific to your system. I'm on a Mac right now, so I've got the Mac version over here. I'm just going to left click on this to download it. If you are on a PC, you'll find the PC installer. So just left click and wait for it to finish downloading. Okay, so once that's finished downloading, just head on over to your downloads folder and double click on the DJUCED 40 installer. And when the installer pops up, just follow the prompts in order to install it on your system. Once it's done installing, head on over to your applications directory or your program files folder, go to the DJUCED 40 folder, double click on that, and then just double click on the DJUCED 40 icon to launch the app. You'll see the software recognize the Hercules P32 DJ, and now we're ready to begin this tutorial. The Hercules P32 DJ is meant to work with the latest version of DJUCED 40, which includes a new feature called sampler decks. So apart from the track decks at the top of the screen, decks A and decks B over here, you've now got two extra ones at the bottom, deck C and deck D. These are the sampler decks, and both of them consist of a 4x4 grid of cells that can store either music loops or one-shot samples. So over here, I've already got a sample pack loaded in deck C, called Loop Masters EDM, and in deck D called Loop Masters Techno. And you can find the other sample packs that come with DJUCED 40 just by left clicking on Sound Libraries, going Sample Packs, and you'll find the other packs in here. But for now, let's just focus on these two that we've got loaded. So you can use your mouse to click on a cell to launch it. Let's try this one over here. So that's going to start playing, or you can double click it to stop. You can change it from a loop to a one-shot by clicking this icon beside the name. That turns it into a one-shot, so we'll play this through, and then after it, you'll notice that it's going to stop. If you want to turn it back into a loop, just left-click on this again. You'll see that loop icon, which looks like an infinity sign. If you left-click on the clip, it'll play through, and as soon as it reaches the end, it'll start over again. So let's stop that for a minute. Of course, you can do this with just your mouse, but it's a lot more fun and easier to do with the P32 DJ because each of the pads here correspond to each cell in the sampler decks. Pressing a pad will launch the audio clip. And then to stop it, you hold the shift button and then press the pad that's playing in order to make it stop. You can launch up to 4 pads per row, like so, but you can only launch 1 pad per column. So you can jump back and forth between rows if you want to, just like that. Stop that first. If you notice, the clips launch in time with the rest of the music, even if your timing isn't that good, just like me. That's because DJUCED now has the quantization feature. Quantization means that your pad presses will always be in time depending on whether you've got quantization on and what setting you've made. You can turn quantization on and off over here in the sampler deck, like so. And you can choose from a quarter note all the way up to 32 beats. My suggestion is to keep it at 4 beats if you're just starting, because most house and dance music is based around the 4 to the floor rhythm, meaning it's got 4 beats per bar of music. Let's try playing that. So I'm going to play one of the clips here and then we're going to count it together. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's your basic 4 to the floor house or dance music beat. That means if you miss launching a clip on the downbeat or the 1, you can just wait until the next opportunity. Keeping the quantization at 4 means that anytime you press a pad, it'll only launch after 4 beats have passed, helping you keep the phrasing of your loops correct. So let's try it with this one. Let's say I'm gonna wait until the downbeat of our clip here. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I'll place another one. And then that's just gonna launch in time with the rest of the loop that's playing. I can do exactly the same thing with another column of pads over here. Let's try the lead melody. 1, 2, I'll press it right now. And it'll only launch at the downbeat or on the 1. This is super handy for making sure that all the pad presses that you make are in time with the rest of the music that's currently playing. It just makes everything so much easier and so simple. You can just have fun and just be really creative and just mess around even though you're DJing with another track, which I'll show you a little bit later on in this video. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to be playing pads from the first row all the way up to the third and jumping everywhere in between. I'm just going to show you just how easy it is to have fun and just mess around live and improvising using the Hercules P32 DJ with DJUCED. Let's try it out. So I'm going to press the top 4 pads over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And then I'll press the next row over here at the bottom. So as you notice, even if my timing is a little off, DJUCED automatically adjusts it for me. That time I pressed these 2 pads a little bit earlier, but that was okay. DJUCED automatically quantized it for me, so now I'm playing everything in time and on sync. Let's try this one over here. So thanks to the quantization feature, just launching all these clips and these samples becomes such an easy affair. Let's try making a break. And I'll bring back that beat. So basically, I'm just making a track on the fly over here, thanks to these clips. It's pretty awesome. Okay, now let me show you how you can control the EQ and volume levels of the sampler decks straight from the Hercules P32 DJ itself. So you can control the volume of the sampler decks by holding the shift button and moving either fader 1 for deck C, like so, or holding the shift button in deck D and moving fader 2. You can also control the volume of the individual sampler deck columns by holding the shift button and rotating the appropriate effects knob of the column that you want to change the level of, like so. Oh, let's try playing a loop here. Let's say I've got this one going. And let me play these other two. Now let's say I want to lower the level of the main lead melody. So just hit the shift button and then I'll move this knob over here. And now it's quiet. Well, I want to make it louder, just hold the shift button and then move the knob. Okay, now let's say that we want to play the samples over here. Let me just play a row. This one's got a different vibe altogether. Now say I want to change the EQ setting here. Let's say I want to cut out the low end. All I gotta do is to hold the shift button and tweak the low knob over here. And you can hear the bass cutting out. This is really nice for making build-ups and the like. If I want to bring it back in. Just like that. Now the knobs over here at the top also act as effects amount knobs when you don't hold the shift button. They control how much of an effect is applied to both the track deck and the sampler deck, and you can select them from this drop down menu over here. You've got a lot to choose from, and you can turn them on and off just by clicking on the name. And you can have up to 3 simultaneous effects going on at the same time. Now, pressing the on button below the effects amount knob over here turns the effect on and off. So let's try playing back a loop here. I'm going to press the on button, turn this effect on, and then I'm going to adjust the amount. Now you can see the amount increasing over here in the software, however, we still don't hear it. That's because the dry wet knob, which is this knob over here, is still set to the 0 position. So let's just bring it up a little bit. The dry wet knob controls how much of the affected signal goes to your master output. So if I move it fully clockwise, you're gonna hear the affected signal in full. And if I move it anti-clockwise, well, you won't hear anything. So you're gonna want something in the middle, maybe. Depends on what setting you're using. Like so. And then we can add another effect over here. We've got a phaser. Come up with some really gnarly effects. Great for remixing. We've got a beat delay over here. Let's try turning this on. It's a bit like a gator. Let's turn off this phaser over here. And great for making techno build-ups. Richie Hawtin style. Cool. Stop that. So if you want to change the effect that you're using, again, just go to the drop down. Let's say I want to add maybe a chorus over here. Try adding reverb. And okay, let's keep that beat delay. So let's try that again. Let's use a couple of pads over here at the bottom. Cool. So turn on the chorus. That's what it sounds like. Can control the dry wet signal just because it's a little bit too much. And I can add some reverb if I want to. And if I want to use the delay, say I want to make a build up here, cut out the bass. Watch your build up. Bring back the bass slowly. Yeah, and the folks at the bar gain got their hands up, going crazy. I don't know if you can even play this at the bar gain, but you know, you get what I mean. I'm not even sure I pronounced that correctly, but there you go. You can turn all of these effects on and off at the same time by pressing the macro button. You can control the amount as well. Yeah, so there you go. Again, just a really easy way to add some improvised tweaking and effects while you're playing with these loops. Of course, you can do that even though you're DJing with another track, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. Okay, now I'm going to show you how easy it is to mix loops and samples that you've got in one of the sampler decks onto a track that you've got playing on one of your track decks. So over here in deck A, I've got a song called Oh Come On, and in sampler deck C, I've got the Loop Masters EDM pack loaded. So I'm gonna play back the track so you can hear how that sounds like. There you go. Electro house track with a brass sample in the background. Nice. 1, 2, 3, and set a cue point there, and as you can see, DJUCED automatically snapped that hot cue onto the downbeat, which is something that's super handy because I have, well, less than stellar timing, as you will see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was a little bit earlier there. DJUCED can also fix my pad presses by quantizing them, even here in the track deck. All I gotta do is press quantize button over there. So the next time I try that, 1, 2, 3. That was perfectly in time. So thank you for helping me, DJUCED. It just makes everything so much simpler. Now I'm gonna try to work in some samples that I've got going on here in the sampler deck. I'm gonna switch on over to the sampler button. And I will also change the quantization setting to 1, which will give me a little bit more flexibility when it comes to launching these clips, because I want to launch a drum clip as well as a bass clip here. Maybe an effect as well as a lead, maybe later on in this track. I just don't want to get too messy. So I'm gonna wait for the buildup of this track, and then I'm gonna drop those samples during the drop. Here's the buildup. I'm gonna engage the filter just to clean up the low end a little bit. Here it comes. People are gonna go crazy. 1, 2. There you go. Now I've got the drums from my sample pack playing, as well as the bass line. I think that sounds pretty cool. Filter it out a little bit more. Now I just played a one-shot sample as well. I can just leave it playing like that if I want to, or let's say I want to do a remix on the fly. I can go back to the position, which I added the hotkey to earlier. Now if it sounds a little bit weird, just hit the sync button just to make sure everything's all right. I'm still playing the drums and bass loops from my sample pack in sampler deck C alongside the track that I've got playing in deck A. Let's just remove a bit of the highs there just to clean it up. Raise the volume of our sampler deck. There you go. And then let's try adding in that lead melody. So there you go. Let's make that a little bit softer. Hold the shift button, lower the volume, the lead melody. So I just made a remix on the fly. I didn't plan any of this. It's just really easy to do as long as you've got this controller and software. Now, if you want to remove or if you want to take out the song that you've got playing from the mix, well, just bring it out as you normally would. Fade it out. Slowly, little by little. Yeah, let's try to bring in that whoosh sample again. And now you've mixed out the original track, and now we can just play other samples that we've got over on this deck. Alright, cool. Now how about let's try mixing in the samples that we've got in Sampler Deck D. See how that sounds like? Move the crossfader from left to right. Let's try to cut the kick drum from here. And try to raise the volume for this one. So we've just transitioned from playing a song in Deck A to playing loops and samples from Deck C and mixing them together, and then mixing out of Deck A and just playing our loops and samples fully on their own, and then mixing from Sampler Deck C to Sampler Deck D. So adding your own loops and samples for use within DJUCED is really easy. All you gotta do is drag them onto one of the sampler decks. So right now in Sampler Deck D, I've got a Loop Master sample pack here, Deep House, and it's at 124 BPM. So I wanna add my own loops and samples that are on the same tempo. So I'm gonna open my Finder window. Then let's say I wanna add this hi-hat loop. Let's drag it on over there. Top loop, and I think I want to use lead synth. So let's say I want to add those 3 loops, and then now they're in the sampler deck. I can just trigger them as I normally would. They're currently set as 1 shot, so I just left click on them if I want to turn them into loops. That's it. Now I can apply all the usual controls. If I want to add effects, that sort of thing. I can change the EQs and just affect them as if they were a part of DJUCED. And that's just how easy it is. You can go ahead and make your own sample packs, just downloading loops online, purchasing loops, and just throwing them in so you can remix with them live and on the fly. Just make sure that all the samples that you're placing within a sample pack, such as here, are all under the same tempo, so it doesn't get confusing later on when you're launching them. Slicer is a new feature in DJUCED that you can take direct control of on the Hercules P32 DJ. Slicer turns the top 8 pads of the P32 DJ into 8 slices of the song that you've got loaded on the track deck. So to access it, press the Slicer button on the P32 DJ. There you go. You'll see the 8 pads in the upper half of the grid light up. These 8 pads turn into your slices. You'll also see a portion of your track deck waveform highlighted in green. Check out Deck B over here, and I've got this green portion. This is your slicer region, which will be looped. Now if you press play on the track deck, you'll notice 1 purple pad moving across the top 8 pads. That represents your playhead, or where you are in the loop of your music slice. Pressing it will immediately loop that specific slice. Just like that. Now you can change the length of the loop slice by moving the loop knob here at the top. So you want to make this bigger. I can also use the bottom half of the grid to change the size of the loop. From 2 beats, 1 beat, 4, 8, all the way up to 32. Let's just keep it at 8 for now. And changing the value, or changing the size of the loop region, also change the note value of the pads here in Slicer. So if I make it smaller, like this, you're gonna get something more akin to a loop roll or stutter effect. Now, a cool way to use Slicer is to have slip mode enabled, which will move the Slicer region along as the music plays. So doing this kind of lets you improvise with stutter effects to add a live element to your DJing. So let's try that out. Let's set the loop size again back to, let's say, 8. And then I'm going to enable slip mode by pressing the slip button over here on the P32 DJ. There we go. Now I'm going to press the play button. And I'm going to enable slicer again. There you go. Now, as you notice, the green region in deck B is moving along as the track itself plays. Now I can make it smaller if I want to again, just to make more stutter sounding effects. Now what I like to do sometimes is I like using slicer in conjunction with the filter knobs, so I can make some nice sounding stutter edits like this. Something like that. So again, it's just a cool and fun way for you to improvise, you know, just adding a bit of a live element to your DJing. I think it works best with beat-driven music, such as glitch hop or something, or even like house or techno like this one, something that isn't too lyric heavy or melodic, just so it gives you a little bit of room to play around with the beat. Yeah, so, you know, go ahead and knock yourself out. That's it for slicing. One last. Oh yeah. Apart from the slicer, you can also do some creative loop, roll, and stutter effects using the P32 DJ and DJUCED. Pressing the loop button on the P32 DJ turns the grid pad into two sections. The bottom 8 pads turn into loop on and off buttons of varying lengths, from 1/16 of a beat, let's try that right now, all the way up to 8 beats. The top half, however, becomes loop roll or stutter pads, which are great for making on-the-spot build-ups to add tension to a track that's currently playing in one deck. So let's leave this loop first. Okay, now let's try pressing on the buttons on the upper half of the grid. Again, just for making those stutter effects. Now, if you enable slip mode, the song continues to play and DJUCED tracks the position of the playhead. So this is where you can get really creative with stutters and rolls without affecting the overall playback position of a song. There you go. Something just super simple. Of course, again, this is really good for either hard driving techno or just something really more instrumental as opposed to something really melodic like a pop song or something with a lot of vocals in it. Just because, again, it gives you a lot of room to play around with the effects themselves. Of course, if you want to mess around, just set the loop like that. Now, just to explain further, slip mode is a feature in DJUCED 40 that keeps track of a song's playback position even if you mess around with it using the loop roll and slicer features. This is useful for when you want to get creative and want to throw in some improvised loop rolls and stutters without affecting the track's overall playback status. So you can enable it by pressing the slip button on the P32 DJ over here, press it like that, or you can just hit the slip button over here on the DJUCED 40 interface, like so. So let's try it out. I'm gonna press play. And again, I'm just gonna try out the loops over here. And when I let go of the button, it's just gonna continue from where I left off as if I didn't press any of these loop heads. So again, super handy if you want to mess around without affecting the playback position of the track. Finally making its way to DJUCED 40 is Quantisation and Snap. Quantisation means that your pad presses for loops and one-shots will always be in time with either what's playing in your track deck or what's currently playing in the sampler deck. Snap means that the cue points and loop in or loop out points that you place will snap to the beat grid, and you can set it to snap to one beat over here. Open it up. One beat all the way up to a 30-second beat. Now, using sync and quantization makes mixing between a song in the track deck and some loops in the sampler deck easy because you're always launching those loops in time with the music that you've got playing back. You should always set beat grids properly first with all your music that you intend to mix loops and samples with. This ensures that DJUCED 40 can take care of technically aligning and syncing the beats perfectly for you, so you can just focus on the creative aspect of layering loops on top of each other. So that's it for this tutorial video on using the Hercules P32 DJ with DJUCED 40. You can also download mappings for DJ, Tractor Pro 2, and Virtual DJ 8 over at the Hercules website. I've included links to those in the description box below. I've also included the link to the full training article which you can find on the Digital DJ Tips website. That will be in the description box as well. So please hit the thumbs up icon if you like this video and hit that subscribe button if you are not a subscriber yet. My name is Joey. Thank you so much for watching this. I'll see you next time.